Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to talk about and showcase for you the strategy that's involved for both Node 3 and Node 4 of the Old Man Logan trials that we have going on right now for the next 9 days. I also tried the same strategy in difficulty 15, and I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, very, very difficult. It is going to be, at the end of the day, more of a roster and star level check because I tried to apply my same strategy in difficulty 15, and it does appear that my Aspire Society team, even though they're over 2 million, they're not ranked up enough in terms of yellow stars. So maybe later on I can do it, but either way, I can still at least show you how I did it for difficulty 14 for these two nodes, and hopefully then you guys can get through it if you're stuck as well. So as you can see, this one's actually not terrible if you know the strategy, but the big part of my success, I would say, is Super Scroll. You can probably do with the Illuminati team if you have Black Bolt as well as Mr. Fantastic geared up quite a bit. But as you can see, if you have some value picks like Photon and as well as Void Knight, they're going to be really, really good characters. You'll see later on, Void Knight's extremely important, especially taking energy away from Apocalypse. And even having a weak Korg, him soaking up damage is actually going to be very pivotal. So you don't actually need him high up, more so for his utility is what's going to be important, as well as Nova providing the support for Super Scroll as well. And then finally, this is the one that's going to be very, very confusing, ladies and gentlemen, because you actually need to throw in some burner attacks so that way the enemies do use their special and ultimate. I'll point that out in my video when I show you the gameplay, but first time that I did this, it took me 3 sacks, and then this time it took me 5 sacks. So it really just depends on what the enemy is going to give you. But I decided to switch it up, actually. This was more consistent. By bringing in Black Knight with the rest of Aspire Society, I found it more successful than having Ghost Spider. So I'll show you guys the gameplay, and then I do plan on doing this for difficulty 15 to see if this strategy change helps at all going higher, because I obviously still want that 7 yellow stars in Old Man Logan as well. So without further ado, now that I walked you through kind of what's attempted in these nodes, let me show you now the gameplay and how the strategy involved for both these nodes. Yeah, and I gotta say, like, I don't think it's impossible to Super Scroll, but he definitely makes things a lot easier. You probably would need to have a little bit more RNG or maybe multiple teams, but starting things off, I used the special there from Nova on that left side to shut down one of the Dark Beasts. Then I rewind actually the right side of Nemesis and ability block him. Using Void Knight, it's great because his ultimate does apply an ability block and brings all the enemies closer. And then finally, this barrage of attacks with Photon rounding things off with the blind. So these enemies don't really touch us at all. All of them can have some potent abilities. We got Korg rewinding them with his special, but again, you don't need a big Korg for this at all. And this is difficulty 14, and this is actually what secured me the 6 yellow 4 red on Logan. So it just goes to show you, you just gotta be smart with the team synergies. Yeah, so Blob's gonna get his attack. We're not worried at all because we're watching these debuffs take place, and you can see that's why it's phenomenal having Photon actually mitigate a lot of damage with her blinds. And at this point, you can be just taking down some of these enemies because the next wave is actually going to drop pretty quickly here. And once they do, be very, very mindful that there's going to be an Apocalypse getting added. Maybe he drops, maybe he doesn't. Sometimes I've noticed he does. It's kind of a weird mix match, but I would save Super Skull's ultimate for Apocalypse. I don't actually need it in this run through, but when I was doing it for difficulty 15, I ulted with Super Skull's ultimate when Apocalypse came, but thankfully my characters are a lot better and overtuned here for difficulty 14 than 15, so not an issue. You can go ahead, activate Photon's ultimate there. It gives some buffs to the team as well and finishes off. Apocalypse finally does spawn, and then you can see here now I am just targeting Magneto because I want to try to take him down before he can activate his blind. And thankfully we have once again Korg using his ultimate to rewind him a little bit. And again, thankfully we're in difficulty 14, so not a big issue. You're gonna get this opportunity where you can use Super Scroll here in a couple ways, right? You can ability block Archangel. I would recommend that one. It also pulls away some of the enemies to lower HP or take them down. And then finally, this is where I would save Nova's ultimate. It'd actually be right on Apocalypse, and now you can actually just hone in on and focus on Apocalypse, not so much the Wolverines. They're not going to be doing much, but yeah, very, very straightforward. Apocalypse is going to first do his special. Thankfully, he's a baby Apocalypse. And then you should be able to use your Void Knight to actually steal away his energy. As you can see, even though my Void Knight had the ability block, we're going to see that he gets that cleansed off. He uses a special, takes his energy away, and now Apocalypse can actually ultimate right off the bat. So it's kind of nice that he can actually get controlled like that at the very beginning. And this is in difficulty 15. This is where I would typically use Super Skull's ultimate, but you can see here I recognize that his HP wasn't even that bad anymore. So I'm thinking, okay, I think I can just finish him off, and that's exactly what I do. This was probably overkill. You probably didn't need to use the special there, but I just opted to do that so that way we can get a little bit of damage mitigation from the Wolverine, and boom, Apocalypse taken care of just like that. And this node is now easy, easy peasy. Okay, now we can start kind of talking about the next node here. And guys, keep in mind, you saw in the preview originally too, most of my characters are already gear tier 18 or gear tier 19. I still had issues with this, and that's why I said it's a star ranking issue. So even in difficulty 14, you might very well have issues with a full-on gear tier 18, gear tier 19 squad. But I first want to point out, how do you know when the number of attempts have taken place where you can actually start using in your team? Watch at the very beginning here what these lizards do. If the lizards don't use their specials or abilities, I activate, first of all, Noir in that left side, and just to do some bleeds there. But you'll see, lizard's going to do his attacks. If he's not using his special or ultimate at the very beginning, you'll know that that's probably going to be a good way now to enter Aspire Society, because you can see they're non-factor. They didn't use their abilities to flip. They didn't gain those massive buffs on their Superior 6 synergies. That's how you know. So my strategy anyways is going through on the left side and actually targeting the Kraven. He's very, very dangerous. As you can see, I try to get stun off of him, on him, but that doesn't work. It is what it is. But oh, sorry, it did land actually, which was nice. I thought he missed it. So when we're going through now, we're just trying to take down the enemies as soon as possible. That way it's going to help our characters gain the turn meter as well. But we have to be mindful of the lizards, because once I think they only have the off-turn attack like once or twice, and then that's it. And before you know it, they're going to have a boatload of buffs for the rest of their Sinister 6 team. So you got to work fast. So you can see here, we hit hard on Kraven, and we finish off Doc Ock. But that's kind of why I like Black Knight getting slotted, because his charges allow him to hit like an absolute truck, especially if you've built him up for the arena meta. Mine's gear tier 19, and he crushes with the strike rise weight. So make sure you guys take advantage. Now we're kind of working on the lizards here. And this is where it's a really, really good time to start honing in on any enemies that are weaker. Like you can see Rhino, he's got bleeds crippling him as well. It's going to spawn another wave here of the Sinister Superior 6 allies. And that's why it's so dangerous, because they just keep getting better and better synergy. So we're just continuing our assisted attacks. But what's really helped is Black Knight giving us the protection, I found, because otherwise it's not controlled at all, and the attacks can be so random. So I found that this gave me a lot more control. It's not going to be a perfect run through, but I want to record this so that way you guys can at least see the strategy of how to get through this node, especially if you are going through the difficulty 15. Remember, you don't even need to do the last node, so technically you don't have to save Black Knight for the very end after the first time you use him with the out of time team. So now one lizard's down, we're focusing on the second one. Again, prioritize these lizards because they just give so many benefits to their team, and it's just not an issue you want to deal with, because as you can see right here, this last wave, there's still another Green Goblin Classic coming with Mysterio and another Kraven. Hence why you do want to be taking down these lizards as soon as possible, in addition to the starting wave that we had to deal with here. These are very, very important, guys. So as you can see, it looks easy, but remember, my characters are gear tier 18 and 19. I still failed with this. This was a good attempt. I still tried, and you can still fail with the strategy that you have in mind, because sometimes it just depends on the enemies, right? So now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna target the Green Goblin Classic, as well as that Green Goblin behind him, just whoever gets weaker. But you want to again build up that turn meter, thanks to that Scourge that we have right now, which is any enemies that get taken down gives us an additional turn meter. But yeah, it's unfortunate we already lost one of our Aspire Society characters. That's why I was saying don't drop your guard just because this looks easy. It's not. These are some insane diamond characters that we're dealing with, and they have the Crucible bonuses of this team. This is one of the best teams in the game. We're up against them in their finest hour because of the Crucible buff. And unfortunately, you need Crucible buffs activated because you want Cabal to function as well. So it's just one of those pain points. Maybe this node is actually overtuned. Maybe they'll revise it later, but I just wanted to at least showcase for you guys the strategy here. But you can see how much more smooth it is with Black Knight. I tried with Ghost Spider. just was not having as much consistency. So again, don't worry too much about the HP levels here and so forth, because they'll get it back with your synergy when you use Fire Society again. And the second node is a lot easier than this one. This is really the pain point, in my honest opinion. This is going to be the reason whether or not you can go deeper into the legendary trials, is if you can get through this initial barrier here through the Superior 6 and Initial 6 team. So boom, boom, boom. Black Knight doing amazing work here, as you can see with his retaliation. It's okay if he gets a little weaker, because we're probably not going to need him anymore after this node anyways. You can bring him into maybe the other hero skill if you want, but yeah, that's the strategy, guys. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Hopefully you can elevate this. I'm gonna be attempting this, I know, for difficulty 15 once I get my Spire Society characters geared a little bit more in terms of their star level, and reattempting the strategy, because I liked how consistent this was. So hopefully this helps you guys with the RNG. Hopefully this helps you guys with the strategy and pushing further, because obviously getting a higher star on Logan and those red stars is going to be the goal here. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.